children of the night. What music they make. They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Oh, welcome to Final Guys, where we have a very special episode. Because tonight we are joined by a man with an actual amusing movie review channel, RedEye Reviews.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How's it going, brother?
It's going well.
You look great, by the way.
He does. He looks fantastic. I'm envious.
Glad your complexion has cleared up.
His face has a
appreciate
glow. Good
Yeah.
Lord, he's like Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels.
I feel like I'm watching The Masked Singer.
Jack and I, by the way, on Monster Men once had a person that we brought on the show who did not show his face. That episode has been taken down for
Oh, that's right. There
legal
were
reasons.
allegations.
There were allegations
Ooh,
that I made, and I was correct. But anyway,
about
this
your
will not
guest,
be like
or
that. Yeah, the guest was a piece of garbage. So, but you're not. You're the opposite of that. In
I was
fact,
gonna say it's gonna be very easy for me to be higher than that guest already.
when I look at RedEye Reviews and So Bad It's Good, I don't know. I guess Jason's maybe the garbage, but maybe not. I didn't mean to throw any shade. Tonight, we're reviewing a Tubi. I don't know if it's an original, but it's on Tubi. It's a movie that Jack had suggested I watch during my Christmas flu, Candyland. Do not confuse this with the game, and do not have your little girls watch this movie with you. Please, dear God. So we'll get into that later. But first, let me introduce the rest of the cast here. Jason Ho-Holand Brandt,
Hello, hello.
Jack Large Marge sent me Campese. Chad has the best name ever, Lotsky Lizard. God, you are so lucky.
Good evening.
And I'm your candy man. Hey, baby.
That's my karaoke song.
I'm sure it is. Tap dance for me, mother.
Before we jump into it, I have a question for you. Have you finished all of the Seagal movies yet?
I am. So when I very first started YouTube, I started Seagal movies because that was my whole. My wife could only listen to it so much, so she was like, "Go vent that somewhere else." So that's why I made the channel. But I made it like 20 movies in before I really figured out my format. So I finished all of his movies. I'm currently doing True Justice, which is his I'm a Cop in Seattle TV show. The fake one, not I'm a real cop in Arizona and New Orleans.
I didn't even realize they were different.
They are. He's the same. He's just him. But so I'm doing that now, but then I'm also slowly going back through the first like 10 or 15 until I feel like my style format reaches up to where I figured it out. Because there's like 10 really good early ones I want to redo that now that I know how to do YouTube properly, I want to give it like a second go.
So you have finished them, but you're torturing yourself.
I'm doing
by
it again.
again.
I'm doing a victory lap. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow.
God bless
dude.
you.
You're the only guy I know who's watched more Seagal than me, and that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an achievement I'm proud of, but
Yeah, you guys should start a support group.
we
Oh.
really should.
You should
We've
meet
talked.
every week.
We've talked a couple times, and it's just been bitching sessions.
Yeah, 100%.
Two guys who make their living off of Steven Seagal. What the hell is this world coming to?
He's gunning for both of you. Sooner or later.
I wish he would. That's how I knew I would I'd made it. If I get a cease and desist or some kind of letter from his representative, then I know I'm on the map, you know.
What would you do if he showed up at your door, like breathing heavily, hunched over a little bit?
I'd probably just go upstairs. It's his natural enemy. He can't follow me.
See, Jason's a giant, so I'd kind of like to see Jason open that door and see what happens next.
Even as fat and old as I am, I could take Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
We had
Whatever
a whole
you
talk
couldn't
about
finish,
that actually.
Your wife
Yeah,
could
we
do.
did. We did talk about this. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I do a very small podcast for my patrons, and Jason and I talked in Seagal's current physical form. Do you think you could beat him in a fight? And I think I could. And I don't know what that says about me, but I think I could.
Could you beat 10 tiny Oompa Loompa sized Steven Seagals?
Oh God, no! They'd fight so dirty.
I'm still waiting to fight Danzig, so I think we should have a Royal Rumble one day. And I say Chad goes against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, actually, I'd pay to see that.
I'd be snapped right now.
We make that happen. Well, look, we'll give you a tag team of Tim Meyer. I think the both of you.
No, I'm fighting Tim Meyer
I'll do
over
that.
the Shining.
I'll do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to get you fighting Tim Meyer. So Laurel is going to be your tag team partner, Chad.
Okay.
Get ready. Before we start and get into everything else, I want to ask all of you, did you know, this ties in with my curation stuff, that Tubi has a 3-part series, TMZ presents about the UFO stuff that's going on right now?
No.
It started today. It's today, tomorrow, and Thursday. I watched the first episode today. It's really good. And if they released some of the jellyfish video that came out, I think at an Iraqi base, US base. If you see it, it's from that. It's really freaking weird. Like, if something's coming from another dimensional world, it's going to look like this.
Oh, did you post a picture of like a jellyfish or something?
Yeah, the jellyfish, whatever it is. It's really weird. So check it out when you get a chance.
What's it called again?
It's if you go right to Tubi, it's something UFO, but it's TMZ presents. They're promoting the hell out of it. So 3-night event. You don't get events anymore, right?
No, you really don't.
What happened to events?
Yeah. So
TMZ, is it just a bunch of dudes with cameras going, excuse me, Mr. Alien, can I have a word with you?
They're all sitting around the office drinking their coffees.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of Jeremy Corbell and other people like that. So they're following the Senate hearing and stuff like that. So it's actually pretty cool.
Who's Jeremy Corbell?
Oh God, listen to Weaponized. Watch some of his documentaries.
What's Weaponized?
Anyway, I put it out there.
What kind of weird world do you live in?
I am digging down a deep rabbit hole, but I've been in this hole since I was 10, so forget it.
That dude, Corbell, that's his name?
Yeah.
He was the one on Rogan, right?
Yeah, him and George Knapp.
That was a tough listen, man, that first time.
I thought it was fast. Well, I mean, maybe I saw the second. It was interesting.
I like it when the I can't remember their names, when the Lazar or
Bob Lazar?
Yeah.
I like
Bob Lazar.
that.
Bob Lazar.
When they talk about him, or when they when the Skin Ranch guys, Skinwalker Ranch guys get on there.
Yep.
That's a good listen.
It's all fun stuff. You got to hope the world isn't just this crap. I just want it to be real, and I want the world to end in a fiery cataclysm from some beings from another planet or dimension. That's all I want.
You're going to be one of those people on the rooftop, like in Independence Day, holding up the signs.
Yeah, saying, I didn't save for my retirement, so take me out now.
Do you make your wife make just tons of mashed potatoes and you build stuff at the table?
Constantly. It's all I do. You should see what I do with turnips. So I think now, I've had my stupid UFO moment. What are the drinking words for this week, and who wants to take them on?
I'll do it. All right. If you hear these words tonight, take a drink. If Jack says stop, 90s, or crucifix. If Hunter says Baldwin, truck, or lot. If I say nudity, kills, or Remy. If Lutsky says loved, indie, and raw. And we'll give these to RedEye if you say Pontypool, Tubi, or lizards. I would say he was reading the description to guess Pontypool. So
I believe so. All right. It is time now. RedEye, I don't know if you know this, but Jack Campisi's news segment is recognized through every corner of the globe as the greatest horror news segment in the history of horror news segments on Final Guys.
It's true.
Pulitzer Prize winning.
Yeah. Spelled with a P and a silent H. Let's get to the news.
It's the news. Yay.
This episode of the news is brought to you by RedEye Reviews.
Nice.
YouTube channel since Lutzky's that hasn't been released yet.
His creepy couch. It's casting couch.
Creepy casting couch.
Yeah, perfect.
That's
of
the
all-
channel name right there.
RedEye, we can't see you, so we're glad to hear you chime in.
I didn't wander off. No, I'm still here.
Feel free to bash any one of us at any time.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right. I have to thank Tina for this first piece of news. She alerted me to this and immediately went to the top of the roster. So, Tina, thank you. Coming March of this year, right around my birthday, the Mick Garris Shining Miniseries is hitting Blu-ray courtesy of Scream Factory.
Oh my God.
Birthday present locked.
I thought you were going to say Vinegar Syndrome.
That would be Scream Factory, though. Always has a lot of extra stuff. So who knows? Maybe there's
Why?
a commentary by Tim Meyer.
Exactly. We found one person who thinks this is great.
Here's a good test. RedEye, have you seen the Shining miniseries from the 90s?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay,
Hey,
good.
don't bother.
Don't.
Okay. I've seen The Shining. I love The Shining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Everybody
is
one of the
great.
greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
Not the series.
Yeah. It's
What's
it's
that?
really bad.
Stephen Weber and Rebecca De Mornay.
And the kid from the Campbell Soup commercial.
Yes. I don't need this for my birthday because I bought the DVDs from eBay when we did the show. I think it came from China or something.
I think you need better quality, though. That's why maybe I might order this now.
It's that, the remake of Salem's Lot, and the original It.
Throw it. Did you throw it in the sewer and
It's
hope
for
Pennywise ate it?
I use it for skeet. So anyway, $35 is the price posted here, March 12th, available for pre-order on Shout Factory.
$35. That's
Tim,
crazy.
if you're listening,
Guaranteed Tim will buy it.
he has
Guaranteed.
just ordered it.
Pre-ordered.
Guaranteed.
Done.
All right. Interesting little piece of news. Robert Rodriguez. It sounds like it's not 100% positive, sure that's going to happen, but he's talking about rebooting The Faculty, which
That could be interesting.
that's like 25 years old, according to this. I was like, how is
Salma
that-
Hayek will not have changed. She'll look just the same.
The same role, yeah.
Right. I couldn't believe that was 25 years old because I have no sense of time. Like once the year 2000, everything is 10 years ago to me.
Me too. That's exactly right.
I was just going to say, why would you remake that? It's not that old. Yeah, it is.
It is.
And I watched it a couple of years ago, and the special effects, like the crawling head thing, totally looks 25 years old.
By the way, 25 years ago, Jack, you were not 25.
I know.
It's just neither was I. It's okay.
Old
I was changing
fucks.
diapers.
You know what I think though? This is a good one to go back and revisit, but I also think that this might not be a bad one to reboot because I don't know a lot of people.
I feel like everybody likes this movie, but I don't know that anybody holds it up as like a classic that you can't touch.
And I don't know about if younger people even are aware of this movie.
It's been a
What year
long
did it come
time.
out?
25 years ago.
98.
Wow.
98. Wow.
Did I ever tell you guys I once spent a vacation with his sister, Rodriguez's sister?
What?
Yeah, we were up in Maine, and there was this couple down with kids around my kid's age, and we were just talking and having a good time. And at one point, she goes, "I don't know if you know my brother. He's Robert Rodriguez." I was like, "What?" So for the next 2 days, we hung out, and they gave us their phone number, their address, and everything. And my wife lost it.
Where was this at?
We were up in Maine, in this little tiny, like nothing motel resort. Oh, there was almost a divorce.
That would have
was
been your
almost
in
the
with
winner.
Selma Hayek right there.
Somebody, the kid from Spy Kids. I don't know. I'll take anything.
Let's think of who else is in that movie. Hartnett's in that. John Stewart.
George
Oh,
Dana
yeah.
Brewster
Elijah-
or something like that.
Elijah Wood. Yeah.
As you would.
K. What's her name?
Famke Janssen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you're right. That cast is incredible.
I looked it up. Usher.
Nice.
Shit.
Really?
I haven't seen it since it
It
came out.
says Usher's in that movie. Yeah.
Yes, he is. Anyone else?
Not Coolio, Jack.
Might as well be.
Oh my gosh.
Jack gets 90s rappers very confused.
Oh, I do too. I get torn apart on YouTube where I watched Meteor Man. I don't know if you've seen Meteor Man.
Oh.
I don't think so.
It's a guy gets hit by a meteor and becomes Meteor Man. That's the whole.
Is that a Wayans?
Yeah, is that a
brothers?
Wayans
It's
brother
a-
movie?
So Wayans did Blank Man in response to Meteor Man, but it's very same like type of movie.
Right.
Oh gosh, never mind. I totally forgot where I was going.
Mixing up rappers.
Oh, thank you.
That's so funny.
Thank you. There's a guy in Meteor Man that I called Discount Colin Kaepernick in a YouTube video. And I got, because he looks like a discount Colin, I got chewed out so hard. But it's 90s R&B, 90s rappers.
That's your blind spot.
That's my blind spot. And every time I feel like I got a really funny joke at somebody else's expense, someone's like, "Don't you know who that is?" Like, no, I don't know everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well-
I get it constantly.
Yeah.
If you're Jack, just call him all Coolio. You're fine.
It works. All right, we're going to close out the news with a little Conjuring news. I don't know if you guys know, but Max or whatever it's called these days
Yeah.
is going to be producing a Conjuring TV show that fits into the continuity of the movies. Just what we needed.
Will it star what's her face?
It doesn't say
And
if
what's his face?
Vera Farmiga
Vera
and
Farmiga.
what's his Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
There's no word on them being in it or not, but that seems like a pretty big ask. At the same time, who knows?
That's interesting. I mean, they could technically just keep playing these characters until they're very old and unattractive, like the actual Warren. So
They also could
money's
do.
good.
They could also do kind of like a, have other characters, and then every once in a while they're like Commissioner Gordon's office, and our heroes go to them to check in and get guidance, and then they go back out.
Look what I bought for the haunted museum.
Yeah, they could have. Well, who's the haunted collector guy?
Oh,
I don't see Vera getting so old. She's unattractive. She'll be a gilf for sure.
I got to tell you, I've been right next to her at a party. She's stunning. She doesn't look human, but she's very nice. She was so down to earth. Didn't question why I was in her home. I thought for sure I was going to get thrown out. So,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I'd watch that. Whatever, I'm in. Although I won't watch The Nun 2. Like, I'm done with stuff like that. But
I tried. I literally on HBO, I have The Nun 2 on my continued watching, and I make it about 5 minutes every sitting, and then I'm like, and pause. I'm gonna go do something else for a while.
yeah,
I can't, man.
I've only
So
seen
you watched the original?
I did. The original wasn't bad. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was okay. I wouldn't call it a bad horror movie.
The Nun. I recall watching The Nun and just halfway through it thinking it was so dumb.
That's one of the two
nonsense, but-
movies my wife has shushed me at in the theater. Because I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Oh,
Sure, I'll hate it. I've only seen The Conjuring and Annabelle, and I did enjoy The Conjuring.
yeah,
But
Conjuring's
You
fun.
hate the Nun. The Nun turns into the X-Men at the end.
Yeah,
It's-
it does.
So RedEye, I saw The Nun at a theater where you could drink, and they just serve you drinks. As
That
you
makes
put up
it
your
better.
card. So I'm like 7 IPAs in, and then the scene comes when they go to talk about the Christ, and she goes, "You mean Jesus Christ?" And I just screamed, "No, Larry Christ!" The whole theater just fell out. I gave him a moment of joy in an otherwise torturous hour and a half.
Yeah.
But if you like the first one and you can't even watch the second one, that is horrific.
I mean, okay, so I have like 3 veins of horror movies. I have genuinely good horror movies. Then I have purposefully B-rated, where it's the typical cast of characters and, you know, the cute girl, the slutty girl, the athletic jock. Like, that's in its own vein. And then just there's the background horror movies where I can put them on and they're not terrible enough that I'll change it, but I'm not really watching it. And the Nun falls into that category where it can be on a screen for an hour and a half and I don't feel like I need to swap it out. But
as long as you're not paying attention.
yeah, no, I can't. I have never sat down and just watched The Nun.
That's exactly what they want.
2 hours of jump scares. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly the next Conjuring movie is going to be called Last Rites. I have no other details.
Hopefully it's better than the last one. That last one was terrible.
I didn't like the second one either. I thought the second one was ridiculous. But
I thought the second one was a roller coaster ride. Like, I enjoyed the ride.
How many are there?
There's 3.
Oh, there's only 3? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw the third one.
all right, well, that's all the news that's fit to print. So let's get to what we watched.
We have such sights to show you.
Well, because we have a guest of honor, naturally, I'm going to call on RedEye first, and I hope that Jason explains that we talk about other crap that we watched during the week.
I did right before we started. You were sitting here, you dickhead.
I'm half deaf. Whatever. So, yeah.
I've been prepared.
All right. Go for it, man. You're our leadoff hitter.
All right. The two things that I have, one of them, I don't know if you guys are big, because we've never talked about it, but big readers. You read books.
Yeah.
We like our books. I know.
Chad and I are.
I know one of you writes books. I don't know.
3 of us.
Yeah, Chad and Hunter are both authors as well.
Well, amazing. Have you read The Paleontologist?
No.
It's a newer one by a guy named Luke Dumas. It's Jurassic Park meets Night at the Museum meets The Shining. Is probably the best way to do it. And it's actually really good. I'm pretty strict on my book ratings, and I gave it most of the book. I gave like a 3.5 out of 5, and then the ending of it bumped it up to a 4, which I think is pretty good for me. But that one's really good.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know.
never even heard of this.
Yeah, The Paleontologist. I'm a huge dinosaur nut. Like the original Jurassic Park movies, I've seen who knows how many times. But it tickles my happy bone in just the right way.
Tickles your pickle.
It tickles my pickle.
How long is it?
It's
The book or there's pickle?
Yeah.
How about both?
Depends on the day, really.
It says 364 pages.
Yeah, it's a quicker read. It's not like a fantasy epic or anything.
Nice.
You just named something right up my alley. I literally just bought it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. You'll have to tell me what you think. It's got. I don't know how much detail you guys give on this segment, but it's really good. I don't know if I want to give away too much, especially if you're reading it. I want you to enjoy it with a fresh take. But
I love that the movie review guy came on and started with a book.
I know.
Feel society has hope.
And then the other one, I was trying to do something a little less mainstream.
Oh wait, you have a second?
Oh yeah. If you have a second, hold on to it.
Recycling.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't shoot your wad yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold it.
Simmer down, RedEye.
Yeah.
We do edging on this show.
Is anyone going to shoot wads?
I like that.
Jack.
That's what all the new kids do these days. So
I'm going to rant about this. I don't know who the publisher of this book is. The paperback is $16. The Kindle edition is $14.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way things are going lately.
Well, a lot of publishers, the Kindle's more expensive than the paperback.
wow.
It drives me crazy. I hate that so much.
I will say the printing was terrible. It's really cheaply done. The cover and the back cover like curled up all on their own, just sitting on my nightstand. Literally, they just peel away from the book. So
he's holding the book up right now.
Yeah, can't you see it? It's right here.
Come on, look closer.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with Jason. What you got?
Okay. I haven't finished this yet, so I'm just going to very quickly mention it and then do another one. I started reading Holly by Stephen King finally.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read this, Hunter?
No, I'm going to grab it from the library.
Stephen King is broken. Like, politics have broken Stephen King.
Yes.
This book is so political, it's driving me nuts.
Oh, then I'm not reading it.
So, as anyone who's ever listened to the show knows, he's my favorite author. He's the reason I got into writing. I love Stephen King's books to a degree I can't put into words. I have all his stuff. And I started reading this, and it's just like, I don't know how many times he's mentioned Trump or January 6th. When every character meets another character, they ask what vaccination they have. It's just like...
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like not a fiction book. It's like a COVID book. And it's like, dude, I lived this. I don't want to read it when I'm going to bed at night. Like,
Trump lives rent-free in his head. It's
like, and
amazing.
I actually forgot to tell you this. We don't talk about politics on the show at all. So I'm not like making a stance here. I'm just saying, if you want to read a good horror book, I'm 50% through this, and half of it is COVID. I mean, it's crazy. I just can't believe the man wrote this. Having read all his other stuff, it's like I think being on Twitter has finally eroded this dude's brain, and now it's just politics all the time.
That's sad.
It sucks. I hate it so much.
You know, I have met a ton of celebrities, and when I ran into him in a barber shop, again in Maine, with the same place Robert Rodriguez and Karen Black up there too.
You're making this up.
I'm not making anything. But anyway, I have
Stephen King in Maine. Yeah, right.
I know.
I have a main story as well, actually. I can tell you later, but
You're like
you're
like those barbers in Coming to America who are like, I met Dr. Martin Luther King.
It was funny though, because Stephen King walked out as I walked in, and the barber, whose his place is the Barber of Bridgeton. After he's looking all around, he goes, "Oh, I think that guy took my keys, my car keys, when he took his hat." And he's like, "Do you know that fella?" And I said, "Stephen King?" He goes, "Yeah. Could you call him and let him know he has my keys?" Like, that is such a Maine thing. And I was like, no, I don't have his number. And it's so funny, at the time, I couldn't speak to him. Like, when we walked past each other, I was tongue-tied for the first time in my life. And now, if I had his number, I would never call him. Like, I wish Twitter never existed, because he just seems like an idiot.
It's just frustrating. Somebody who's like, you could read any of his books up until recently and not have any idea what his politics are. He was just writing good characters and good stories. And then I'm reading Holly. I'm like, fuck.
Oh,
like,
that's
it
sad.
just bums me out. I'm like, man, politics finally got to Stephen King. Like, damn it. So
he only had a 92 book run.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Sucks the 93rd wasn't good.
He's barely hanging on. But if you want to read about COVID and if you want to relive the experience of the lockdowns, then you actually might really like Holly. Like,
is that a sequel to the one that was on HBO?
The Outsider?
Yeah.
It has the same main character.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah. Holly, the main character.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even put
she's
the two and two together. Okay.
She's kind of like his private investigator he uses in multiple books now.
She's in like 2 or 3 other books as well, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'm in no hurry to get to Holly. And also, I've heard, really nothing but bad things, and that it's just COVID through the whole thing.
We don't need that.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, if you did a control F to find in this book and just typed in COVID or vaccine, hundreds and hundreds, and I mean, it's wild. So
all right, you saved.
I'm
me
going to
from
finish
having
it
to do
because
this.
he's the GOAT. So I'm going to finish it. But goddamn,
yeah, there's not a chance I'll read that.
It's not relaxed. I curl up to read at night, and I'm like, oh, cool.
I just had COVID, so I don't need to read about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild.
All right, Chad, can you lift our spirits with something from 1974 on Tubi?
How about 1980?
You see, Colin is wishing you a happy January 6th.
Freaking Colin.
You red hat extremist.
You guy. All right,
So-
1980. Yes.
Yeah, 1980, a movie called Hell of the Living Dead, also known as Virus. This, and I swear I've seen the poster on a couple different other movies.
I've heard that name before.
So this is yet another Italian zombie movie that rips off Dawn of the Dead, even using Goblin for the soundtrack, which rehashes some of the same music from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, why not?
I guess when they were hired to do that, they were like, "Yeah, we'll do it," and then they slipped some Dawn of the Dead stuff in there too. But it starts at a chemical research facility, and a rat causes a chemical leak. No cool pictures, Jason.
I'm working on it.
All right.
Wow.
Then the rat attacks this guy and it makes the leak worse, and he turns into this flesh-eating zombie who then spreads this new virus to his coworkers by tasting their necks and their shoulders. And then a 4-man team of Interpol commandos are employed to take care of eco-terrorists somewhere. And these guys somehow end up grouping with a pretty journalist and her cameraman who are covering mysterious attacks on New Guinea locals. So it goes from here to over here. And from here, they travel through the jungle. The commandos and the pretty journalist with her cameraman. And she decides, I need to get naked to fit in with the locals.
Go back one picture. Does that look like Clive Owen with a mustache? And
It looks like Geraldo Rivera.
It looks
Oh
like
my
Clive
God.
Owen in a porn stash.
It does. By the way, the cover of this thing is stolen from Gates of Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Oof.
Well, that guy's got like the Death Star officer hat on.
It does.
And they wear those same uniforms in Dawn of the Dead too, don't they?
Yeah, when they're invading the apartment building.
Yeah.
Not with that hat though.
Yeah,
they get
had
that.
that
Yeah,
hat.
they get the hats.
You're suggesting the
got that hat.
Italians ripped off other movies? What?
It's crazy.
So, yeah. So this journalist, she's like, decides it's best if she strips down naked and puts a little Vinnie Vincent makeup on to fit in with the locals better. Nobody's gonna get that joke probably, but
Boys are
that's
gonna rock.
what she reminded me. There you go. A
Oh,
little
boy.
Vinnie Vincentage there. This jungle, this place, all these zombies are the absolute slowest, least threatening zombies you've ever seen. We would all survive.
So
No
she was
problem.
a Hershey Kirk.
Those are the Dawn of the Dead cop outfits. Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you've got this outrageously inadequate team of commandos at the helm. One of them figures out zombies only die if you shoot him in the head, and he keeps telling every time a zombie attack happens, he's like, "Guys, shoot him in the head." Nobody gets it. Nobody will do it. They're just constantly just shooting in the torso. No matter how many times this guy reminds them, they just can't figure it out. Plenty of gore, mostly bad makeup, akin to Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
After I saw this, I sent Jason a message declaring this 100% so bad it's good. Because
It's serving a purpose.
because of some of the decision making in here is just hilarious, and it's kind of all over the place. The dialogue is so bad. Some of these characters are so bad. But yeah, there's stock footage in here of tribes, of animals, of some kind of real funeral with a real dead body with a giant penis.
Oh, now I'm in.
I'm on a roll with talking about giant penises. aren't I?
Dead giant
Like,
penis. Come on.
You seem to be
yeah.
picking movies based on how many giant dicks are in them lately.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of Jack.
Okay.
So
Chad Schween Lutsky.
if you're into bad movies that you can laugh at, this is for you. It's definitely not the best, but like I said, it's Italian. It's got gore. Hilarious.
If
Giant
Jason
penis.
goes to his Toten room, it might be already in there.
I just checked my spreadsheet. I have a Blu-ray of this. Someone said.
There you go.
I will be watching this.
All right. Jack, save us.
I've got something important to talk about with Chad and Jason. Last week when we were doing our top 13s, I was waiting to see if either one of you was going to put Saw X on your top 13 list.
No.
I watched Saw X in order to get it in before the 2023 wrap-up show.
Mhm.
I have not seen a Saw movie since I saw 2, maybe. I don't know if I saw all of it. And then I saw the Chris Rock one. So I have a huge gap.
Oh, geez.
I watched this and I was able to keep up with it. I did watch a video afterwards to help me figure out who a couple people were and what their backgrounds were. And one of the reasons I watched this movie is because I saw some people doing their best of lists and people were mentioning this. And I kept hearing people saying, wow, it's actually a good movie or this and that.
Yeah.
And I have a public service announcement for people.
Bring it.
If
Bring it.
you are watching this movie and being positive about it, you need to get a life. You are watching too many Saw movies and you're just comparing this to other Saw movies, and you need to get out of Saw movies and watch other stuff, because
good for you, Jack. Preach.
This may be one of the best Saw movies, but you can do better, people. You shouldn't be putting this on your top 10 lists.
Really?
There's the Candylands out there that you're missing.
You should be watching Amityville Toilet.
Amityville Toilet.
Death Toilet.
Death Toilet, sorry.
This movie is hilarious in that it takes the Saw guy, Tobin Bell, is that his name?
Yeah.
And it's like after the third Saw movie, and he's got cancer, and he finds out about a miracle cure, and he goes, but they're scamming him. So then he takes revenge on the scammers. He tracks down like the secret hospital where they performed this fake surgery on him in no time, and then super converts it into a Saw trap world where
he's the greatest engineer to ever live.
Ever.
Yeah.
And there's one scene where I'm not giving too much away here. Somebody is trapped in like an office and is throwing a chair against the glass, and the glass won't break. And I'm like, wow, Jigsaw not only retrofitted this place with all these traps, but he replaced the windows with unbreakable glass in like that short a time. What? Like that bothered me more than creating, these super traps. Also, there's a very prominent kill in the trailer and poster that's like a dream sequence.
Yeah.
So again, I can't. It was probably higher up on the quality list than other Saw movies, but I plead people who are, if you're watching Saw as like a guilty pleasure and I just have it on and I like the kills, that's cool. But like if you're getting invested in this, I beg of you to go watch some of the stuff that we talked about. Go watch The Passenger. Go watch Candyland. Go watch.
Let it be known I'm the only final guy who will not watch Saw X ever. So I win.
So I was very proud of you two that it didn't show up, because if you had put it on, I would have been like, you guys just aren't watching enough movies. You need to do better next year.
Dude,
but
I can't believe you think that little of us that we would put Saw X on our list.
Well, Hunter put Mithrigan.
So did a lot of people. Hello? Because
so a lot of people put Five Nights at Freddy's too.
I have joy in my life.
Chad, you put Skinamarink on. You gotta stop.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we haven't seen the story before. We've seen Mithrigan.
We never needed to see that story. Ever.
Mithrigan
was just a continuance of a good story.
RedEye, have you seen Skinamarink?
I have heard the title, but no, I haven't seen it.
Oh, God bless you.
I would love to hear your opinion on this, but I'm going to apologize now for mentioning it to you because you're going to hate me if you watch it.
Just turn off the lights in your house, point the flashlight at the corner, and watch
Whisper.
it for
Just give it like 140 or 100 and 20 minutes.
Yeah, make
It's
sure.
about
Yeah,
how
you do
long it
2
is.
hours worth of staring at corners and
It's a movie that is literally just shots of the ceiling and the corners of the ceiling. That's the whole movie.
There's a story there, but yeah.
Yeah, 4.8 on IMDb. That's not terrible for a
That's
horror movie.
generous.
I don't know who's smoking rocks and rating that movie. Well, Chad. Chad's one of them.
Chad, yeah.
Saw X is Citizen Kane compared to Skinamarink.
Have you seen the Saw movies?
I have seen a lot of them. I haven't seen 10. I think I stopped when you had to get to two hands to count the number of movies. I probably watched about 5, I'd say.
Okay. We just watched all of them recently. That's why I was curious.
Oh gosh.
When I say we, Jason,
Yeah, Chad and I. Sorry.
Jack and I. will
The
not
first
participate.
one, actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they went, what if we did that 9 more times?
Yeah.
And that's the premise of every other Saw movie.
No.
That's the impression that I had until we watched them. And there's really only I think there's really only like 3 in there that I didn't like.
I
I
think
was
you were so
surprised.
damaged by Saw that you put Skinamarink on your list. I think Saw screwed you up entirely.
I like the brain surgery one. I don't know which one that one, but he had a tumor in his brain, and they get the doctor in, and she has to perform on open brain surgery. That one's not bad.
Yeah, that's 3. So I actually like them significantly more than I expected, although they really tailed off at the end. But the problem was they killed Jigsaw in the 3rd one. And then they made 7 more movies trying to do like prequel stories that tie into current stuff so they can keep putting Jigsaw in.
They literally
Plus,
killed their own cash cow.
Plus, you
Yeah.
can learn a lot from Saw. I had no idea that you can cut the top of your own skull out and take parts of your brain out with no problem, no twitching,
Yes.
no problem.
You don't need most of it. It's just dead air up there.
I'm gonna do a little self-surgery later. So I can erase this episode.
I had a good laugh at Saw X. So
All right. My turn. RedEye. I already know where these guys stand. Do you believe in UFOs and aliens?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're my kind of guy. So there's a documentary that came out last year, Ariel Phenomenon.
There we go.
There we go. This is a callback to the beginning of the show. This is about this aerial school in Zimbabwe in like 1996, where these kids were out on recess and a craft landed kind of by the outdoor field where they were at, and kids saw not just the craft but beings outside the craft, and drew pictures and told stories that were, what the hell is that? That's not
This
it.
isn't it?
Jason. No.
Okay.
It's Ariel Phenomenon. Yeah. It's a documentary. So this happened in the mid 90s. And at the time, some woman UFO investigator came down and talked to all the kids, and all the stories, and they had them draw pictures. They all pretty much corroborate, but not so much where it's so exact. It's like, all right, so that's collusion, right? You're all just saying and drawing the same thing. A BBC reporter who was a war reporter also went out there. So this documentary contains footage that he shot of the kids when they were little and the interviews that were going on. And John Mack, who was the Harvard professor who became involved in alien abductions. He did a great book. I think it was called Abducted. It's back here somewhere. But anyway, he was there too to interview the kids. So we get to see that. But it's also I can't say the word.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Good enough.
A few of the little kids, they're interviewing them now as they're older, and one whose family took her out of the school immediately when it happened and went back to Canada. She goes back to the school. So you're seeing the little kids talk about these things that are happening when they're kids, when it actually happened. And now, 25 years later, recounting these stories. Nobody's ever recanted what they saw. It's a fascinating documentary. It's not like there's so many crappy alien and UFO documentaries out there. Trust me, I try. I go 5 minutes in, I'm like, whoop, done. This one is really professional. It's exceedingly compelling. I bought it for $10 on Amazon Prime because there was no other way to watch this thing. I keep waiting for it to go down. Like, forget it. I have to watch this because it's one of the most fascinating UFO events in the last, 50 years. So we got a great documentary out of it, and it's kind of creepy watching these kids when it's just fresh from happening talk about it, and you can see they are in shock, in awe. They're altered, and these are little kids. Little kids are, if they're acting, Meryl Streep should just sit down and take notes from them and figure out how to act this well. And seeing them still as adults, and they're still greatly affected by it. It's a great documentary. So in the world of UFOs and stuff like that, like I said, the TMZ is really good documentary on Tubi right now, but this is excellent. This is right up there with like the James Fox documentaries that he does. So I highly encourage it.
All right. Where did this take place?
Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah, at the Ariel School, hence Ariel Phenomenon.
There's I can't remember the podcast name now, but it's just like a strange history podcast.
Mhm.
And they do all kinds of stuff with like disappearing lighthouses and fog and mist or whatever, but they did a whole series on this story as well. I listened to it years ago, but probably one of the only, because I would say like 99 out of 100 alien or UFO stories that I hear, I can immediately just go, no, that didn't happen.
Right.
But it's one of those stories where, yeah, you hear about the kids who can all say roughly the same thing without like look like they're reading from a script. That caught me as well. But
And it's kids,
right.
so it's not adults, and it's also, this is not a school that's in a city. It's in the effing bush.
And they don't stand anything to gain from it either.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, and these kids believe in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. They're definitely reliable.
Absolutely.
watch the movie.
Totally.
You know what? This is Africa. I don't think these kids believed in any of that crap either. But it's when you see their faces, their tiny little 8-year-old, 10-year-old faces recounting what they saw, that really hits home. Because I've known this story for years. But to see that and to see how some of them it's kind of impacted their entire adult lives was kind of really, it was cool. I feel bad for them because this isn't a badge of honor to have witnessed it. It hasn't enhanced their lives in any way whatsoever. But like I said, good documentary.
They're in a documentary. I think it enhanced their life.
Yeah, they're probably rolling in documentary money right now.
Documentary residuals.
Here's a bag of beef jerky and a 6-pack of beer.
You dropped 10 beans on that.
Tell us your story. I did. It was 20 for like a year, and I was like, all right, I'll buy 10. But that 10 is not making its way to Zimbabwe.
I'm in a documentary. I didn't get paid anything.
Yeah, it's barely going to make it to the guy who did the documentary.
I'm on IMDb. That's about it.
Look at you.
Wow. Fancy chat.
I'm going to look you up later.
This is Joe Lansdale documentary.
Including Chad Lutsky nude.
Wait, the guy you shit on the show? Joe
Oh
Lansdale?
my God.
Stop it with that. I did not. I
am calling Joe now. Jesus, Chad.
Joe knows I love him.
All right, RedEye, you're up next.
All right. My other one is I'm a huge zombie fan. Like if I had to pick a genre of horror movie, it's just zombie. Like it beats out literally every other one 10-1. And I've seen basically all of them that are good, even like some French ones and there's like a Russian one.
Is it German one that was really good, like an hour long? Do you remember the name of that, Jack?
Rambach or something like that?
Yeah.
Rambach Berlin. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
But this one is from Canada. It's called Pontypool.
Oh yeah. Love Pontypool.
And this was when in college I counted this as a foreign film that I watched, and I told people I was into foreign films, and it was not not that far away from us. But I really, really like Pontypool, just in terms of a story that can think outside of the box of the typical zombie virus. Because in Pontypool, to spoil basically how the infection is, a lot of zombies, it's through a bite. Fungus is always an interesting one, but this one is through speech and through language, which was very abstract, but I thought super cool. And basically, they didn't want to, because the whole story, you don't see any of the main stuff play out because they're in the basement of a church and they do a radio show. And they have a guy, I want to say their guy is in a helicopter. I'm pretty sure they have a helicopter guy that they tune into. And he's their only like outside source of anything that's going on. So he'll say, you know, oh, these people rushed into a building, the building exploded. And they're just trying to piece together what's going on in a basement. But then as this zombie outbreak starts happening, it basically makes you kind of mumble incoherently, and you're saying words, but they're not coherent words, and the person
like
looks
Biden.
confused. yeah. They're oh gosh, or who's that dude? The guy who looks like a turtle that just
Mitch McConnell.
Just
staring off into the distance.
staring off into space. That's like he has the zombie virus, and it's
He's
just
Pontypooled.
incubating. He's Pontypooled. But I thought it was good. I put it in one of the more creative zombie movies I think I've ever seen. As far as acting prowess, I think it's pretty good. It's a relatively unknown cast in terms of like American movies. But yeah, I probably
agree
put
with
it in
you.
like top 10 zombie movies of mine.
It's
yeah,
a
but
great
does it have a
movie.
giant penis?
I don't
I think
so.
Stephen McHattie does have a giant penis. He just doesn't show it. It's
Like
on
Willem
Shudder,
Dafoe?
so they added Shudder. And I will give a piece of advice: if you ever come across Stephen McHattie at HorrorCon, don't keep shouting Pontypool at him. He's gonna want to kill you. Just a little piece of slice of life.
That's a good note.
I don't want to start throwing names out, but remember we had a director on here who was not a fan of Stephen McHattie?
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Not a fan at all?
Yeah.
Having said that, he is so good in Pontypool. I mean,
Yeah,
he carries that movie.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. This is a great example of a movie where you have zero budget, but you want to do something bigger than what you have. So you have to solve that problem in creative writing and dialogue.
Writing, who
And-
knew?
And it's just fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a great. If you haven't seen it and you like zombie movies, you gotta watch this. You're just not gonna get like stomach ripping and intestine eating.
Not to. I don't have to talk about this other one, but because I'm not on here regularly, the other zombie movie you should check out, which I'm sure you all have, is The Battery. That's a really good one as well.
Yeah.
Another one of very small budget, but big story.
Yep.
They filmed that not far from me here.
Oh, really? That's cool.
They got the idea from watching Jack jerk off to zombie movies.
True story.
They were like, "Oh, yeah, I guess a guy would jerk off to a zombie."
Are you on IMDb for that, or
Uncredited.
He's on
uncredited?
Pornhub.
Hunter's on there too. Man with mop.
My God, if I could get my mop movie done, I'll take that every day. I'll put that on my friggin' gravestone. The man who made mop.
That was my titty outside the window and the battery pressing against it.
You look good.
Thanks. I lost weight since then.
Yeah.
Natural.
That's my titty. All right, Jason, it's all yours while I go get a beer.
All right.
next?
I got it. I watched finally The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh,
This is one that it looked kind of like just a generic vampire movie to me when it came out. So I wasn't super interested in seeing it. And I finally got around to it. And after watching it, this movie looks great. All the stuff on the ship is outstanding. And it's actually very interesting, all the stuff on the boat. The problem is when the vampire shows up, it is just a generic vampire movie. So it's like this weird thing where it's incredibly well done. For those of you who don't know, this is a prequel to Dracula, or I shouldn't say prequel. It's a part of the book Dracula.
it's a chapter in Dracula.
Just turned into a whole movie, and then they changed the end a little bit.
A little bit.
A very little bit. So as far as adaptations of Dracula go, it is original in that we have never seen what happens on the boat that brings Dracula to England. It's just, man, when the vampire's on screen, I just don't care. It's like every other vampire thing you've ever seen. But the characters are all good. When somebody gets bit and no one on the ship knows what's happening, that's well done. It does suffer from the problem of all of us knowing what a vampire is, what Dracula is. So it's like a lot of these vampire movies, we're watching the characters figure out what we already know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that interesting. It's like, oh, what's the mystery? Well, we knew when we bought the goddamn ticket. So it's a very well-made movie. It's well shot. It's a shame it didn't do that well in the theater because I'd like to see more kind of period piece horror movies. It's just, you knew what was going to happen. If you know anything about Dracula, you know exactly how this is going to go. So, well-made movie. Not that intense to me, just because I knew everything was going to happen ahead of time. And it's,
In a way, it's a Dracula
Dracula.
prequel.
I said the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your favorite.
So it is a well-made movie. And if
No.
you're not anal like I am about not knowing what's going to happen going into a movie, you'll probably like it more than I did. But I still
Yes.
did enjoy it.
The last
Yeah,
5
cool.
minutes of that movie are so stupid.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
trying to set up like Van Helsing
Yeah.
kind of.
I
Oh,
feel like
God.
that happens in the horror genre a lot the past few years, where you get 90% of a really good movie, and then they just don't know how to end the movie properly. And because I've seen a handful of these quote unquote indie horror movies that came out past couple years that I think are good, and then you get to the ending and you're like, okay, we're in a treehouse with a bunch of naked old people. Sure, that makes sense. Like, why not?
They can
Hey,
sell-
that was a great ending.
They can tell Dean Koontz, hey, Dean, how should we end the movie? Like you end your books. And he gives him advice and it all shits the bed.
This movie tried to do what Dracula Untold did, where it had the last 5 minutes trying to set up a world and sequels.
Hmm.
And this being a chapter in Dracula, it was now swerving way off of Dracula. And you're like, what? Okay. And just like Dracula Untold is never going to get a sequel.
No.
Well, the way they swerved it, if you've read Dracula or seen any adaptations of Dracula, you know the way this ends is not what happens to the Dracula character. So
Yeah.
again, there's no, if they ever made a sequel, there's no tension because I know he's not going to do what he thinks he's going to do. So I don't know.
By the way,
Anyway.
Efren Nafaret says he's looking forward to the new Nosferatu movie, which I am too.
Did you see the picture of Willem Dafoe as the vampire hunter?
I did.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. So,
I love Willem Dafoe.
all right. What do you love next, Chad? What's next on your love list?
Have you guys seen a movie from 1960 called Private Property? Okay. I guess it was
No.
controversial at the time. I've never seen it either, but apparently it was remade in 2022 and it's on Hulu right now. Private Property. It stars Shiloh Fernandez from the Evil Dead remake. And it starts out good. There's a body floating in a pool, but we're not sure why. Then the movie rewinds to a few days earlier, where a bored rich housewife takes to her new gardener and sexual tension develops. The gardener is played by Shiloh Fernandez. But you know something is not right. I turned this on thinking it was probably going to be a domestic thriller, which it is.
Dude, this cover is so generic.
Yeah,
No.
that's pretty
That's-
bad.
Yeah,
Actually,
that is
Benson
not.
looks good, though.
That's not the cover.
yeah.
That's not the cover that was on Hulu or that's on Hulu. The cover on Hulu is actually pretty cool.
God
Um,
damn.
So the movie gets
There
to
we go.
I'm watching this movie.
well, you're gonna be. That's the cover I saw. I think. Yeah, right there.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Giggity.
It just looked like an indie movie that I would probably dig. It gets to a certain point, then backs up and tells us the gardener's story, and it's linear from there. The shots and the music and the premise are good, but there's something lacking. I don't know what it is. I think part of it may be I wasn't buying Fernandez as this young, sexy gardener who this housewife would be willing to sacrifice everything for, especially after hearing him freestyle rap to impress her. Which would make me go dry instantly.
I love
sounds like every guy my daughter's ever dated.
I thought you were going to say, like, he doesn't have money or his car sucks. No, he's terrible at freestyle rapping.
I don't think anyone here would care for this, so I'm not going to recommend it. But for those who are into domestic thrillers with an indie feel, maybe check this one out if you've got nothing else to watch. For one, I like a lot of these domestic thrillers. It's kind of like the same story told over and over again. Like, was that one Pacific Heights or
Pacific Heights really good.
Single White Female? Just I love that. Like somebody's crazy in here, and you got to watch them go down eventually.
This was on Hulu?
Yeah.
So I watched an Ashley Benson movie on Hulu called Mobland with John Travolta and Steven Dorff.
Oh my God, what a combo.
It is discount No Country for Old Men.
Nobody needs that.
Who the hell is Ashley Benson? Am I supposed to know this name?
I didn't know her either.
She
I
was
like
one of the
girl.
what's that? Spring Breakers girls.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Oh,
right, Jack.
She was in Bring It On, In It to Win It. You've seen that one.
I
That's
love
what I
Bring It
know her
On,
from.
the
That's-
original.
That's probably where you know her from. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Okay. Thanks.
Pretty
man.
Little Liars.
I embarrassed my family by how much I like Bring It On.
Bring It On's
I love
awesome.
the sequels, but God, I love that first movie. Go Toros.
Jesus
Bring your
Christ.
spirit fingers, brothers. Come on.
These are spirit fingers. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay. Last week I alluded to a movie that I watched, and I'm going to bring it up today. It's on Hulu, and it's called Appendage.
Oh, I saw that.
You saw this.
Yes.
This is about a woman who starts to get like a sore on her side, and pretty soon she's getting a growth, and pretty soon it's all of her like negative thoughts and emotions manifesting into like a creature growing out of her.
Directed by Cronenberg.
This is Cronenberg using like a toy chest for special effects. I'm watching this movie, and when I don't know if I was halfway through or when I was done, I thought to myself, how would I explain this movie to a normal person? Like, what did you do last night? Oh, I watched this movie where this woman grew a creature out of the side of her body, and then it came out and it was manifested her negative feelings, and it was like this entity that she had to deal with.
You'd have to be like, hey, man, do you like brain damage? I mean,
And
that's your starting point.
The special effect for the creature is like Ghoulies level.
Yeah, it's not CGI.
It's like a little rubber puppet.
It's brain damage.
Wow.
It's
Right,
brain it's basket case, brain damage. It's like
the
that.
premise is essentially The Brood, really.
It's brutish, correct.
But so that side of it is kind of the schlocky horror movie. But then it kind of, Hunter, if you agree with me here, they kind of take the main plot of the negative emotions and that's pretty seriously, and it's really funny when you kind of put them together.
Feeding on your insecurities to get you to do things.
It's like, are you trying to make a serious movie here with a little hand puppet coming out of somebody's side?
Yeah.
But again, because we're horror fans, like we'll watch it and be like, oh, I saw a movie, you should check it out.
Yeah, I thought it was a ton of fun. I couldn't believe they had the balls to make the movie in this day and age. So I appreciated it.
Wasn't The Brood essentially, the chick had the thing coming off her body, but weren't her kids like just really manifestations of her negativity and her anger and they would go out and kind of do her bidding, but that's where they came from.
This thing would come out and just screw with you. It was really after you. Like there was all the worst parts of you. It was your toxicity trying to make a better you. out of itself, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's a I view a Hulu movie kind of like a video store. Like it's there. If you're looking for something to watch, you'll be entertained. But like I said, I tried to like a couple of days later with my family, and they're like, "Oh, so did you see anything interesting lately?" And I'm like, well, this thing, never mind.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I saw Mobland with Ashley Benson and John Travolta.
There you go. No, it's good though. I mean, for horror fans who like 80s horror, I think are gonna like this.
It makes me want to go back and watch Basket Case. It's been a long time.
Belial. All right. I'm going to finish up with the greatest series. But I'm in my wheelhouse tonight. Aliens, and now I'm going to Bigfoot. I watched on Tubi the Boggy Creek, the Bigfoot series on Tubi.
There's a series?
What?
Yes. This came out in 2019. It is produced by Fred Olen Ray, who is the creator of such great movies as Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Sex Bomb.
Fred Olen Ray? You're shitting me.
No, I'm not kidding you. Now, by the way, he's mostly doing Christmas movies that you'll see on Lifetime and Hallmark now.
It's a real market, man.
RedEye.
Yeah.
He's the one who directed Sniper Special Ops.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty good.
Some serious talent here
It's
behind
a lot of talent.
Boggy Creek, the Bigfoot series.
He has done hundreds of movies, by the way. Hundreds. He's like Corman, kind of. So this series, it's 6 episodes, 20 minutes each. It has the production quality of a soap opera from Kazakhstan. That's the best way I can describe it. Every episode is a contained story. But these two people here that you see, they're part of the Yeti research group or something down in Boggy Creek with their temporary headquarters in Boggy Creek. And I'm like, Yeti? There's no freaking Yetis in North America. But that's fine. The first episode deals with a woman. She was in Slumber Party Massacre. I can't remember her name, but she's like the witch of Boggy Creek, and she feeds Bigfoot. The Bigfoot costume is hysterical. It's so bad. But there's some articulation in the face. Very little, but there's some. But she's feeding it, and then some dude comes to rob her because Bigfoot brings her treasure from the swamp, and that's how she buys meat scraps. I'm not going to be able to get through this.
This sounds entertaining, actually.
There is one of the episodes is 3 girls go to their uncle's cabin in Boggy Creek, and there's an escaped lunatic. And Bigfoot's going to save them from the Bigfoot's always the savior in this, by the way.
It's like Saw X.
He's the moral conscience of Boggy Creek.
It's like the Bill Bixby, the Harry Bill Bixby.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this the Incredible Hulk?
It's so weird. Like, the first 2 episodes, I go, is this like a G-rated kind of thing? And then the 3rd episode, the girls had titties, and I'm like,
did Bigfoot walk down the street with a backpack? And
well, here's the best part. Eric Roberts provided narration for the beginning and the end. It's the same thing for every episode. And in the beginning, it always pans up to a Bigfoot from behind, just putting his hands up in the sun, standing in the sun. I watched all 6 episodes in a row last night. I couldn't. It was just like watching cars in the Autobahn just keep slamming into each other and slamming into each other. It's reminiscent of Friday the 13th, the series, but without any talent behind it. So,
I got a question for you about Bigfoot.
Yes.
Because I have an easier time believing in UFOs than Bigfoot.
I do too.
Part of it is because I feel like if there was Bigfoot, wouldn't we have like a Craven the Hunter, like level hunter guy? Or like, speaking of Friday the 13th, remember the dude from Jason Goes to Hell who was like the Jason Hunter dude?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we have like the super hunter guy who goes out there, the most dangerous game? And
his name is Bobo from Finding Bigfoot. And when he's not on his own podcast getting so high he falls asleep, he's out looking for Bigfoot. So.
Didn't we have that dude in Harry and the Hendersons? But then he was converted, and now he hides a secret.
They're everywhere, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, this show though, man, I give him credit for this giant swing. There's even a thing with in the Civil War and a soldier making friends with Bigfoot. I'm like,
I just like
it's
that
next
Bigfoot
level.
barters. I like that he does exchange of goods with trinkets.
Yes. And if you treat him nice, he'll murder people who are after you.
As if a Bigfoot isn't enough of a draw for a TV show. They're like, let's add some psychopaths in there because.
And everybody who acts in this movie, I think, came from like local car commercials. It's next
Fred Olin
level
Ray,
bad.
man.
Yeah, it's Fred Olin Ray. I mean, that's basic. But the fact that you got Eric Roberts doing his like Tales from the Dark Side narration post and pre is amazing.
I don't think Eric Roberts says no to roles ever.
No,
I don't think he does.
He's got to pay for his weed somehow. So,
all right.
I
Good
love
for him.
Eric Roberts.
I do too. Love the whole family. Love Julia.
Seems like a
love
cool
Emma.
guy.
So check it out. If you're a Bigfoot extremist like me, go to Tubi. Check out your It's Boggy Creek, the Bigfoot series. So you don't get confused with Boggy Creek, the Mothman series. I don't know what else goes on down there. All right.
All right.
We're all good?
Done.
All right. It is time to jump into the main feature. Get your trucker caps on. We're going to Candyland.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
A movie dedicated to lot lizards is way overdue. And because we got to thank Jack for this, I think Jack, I don't know if you want to sing it, rap it, or just say it.
Well, no, but first, RedEye, would you like to just give us a quick synopsis of the movie, or do
Yeah,
you're
I could
putting
do
him
that.
on the spot. Look,
I could do
how he
that.
does it with no problem.
Wow.
The full synopsis?
just like a quick?
So
Anything you
first of
want.
all, I thought Jason said that we were going to watch Candyman, and I was very excited to see Tony Todd, and then very disappointed when I clicked the link and I saw the word man change to land.
There's not nearly as much vagina in Candyman.
No, there's full on vagina in this movie, and the first 30 seconds, it just cuts first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, way too long of a lot lizard banging a guy in the cab of a semi truck.
Bonus.
And then she moves on to blowing a couple guys in a bathroom. And then she goes and hangs out with other lot lizards, and they seem very well adjusted for what they do as a job.
true.
They seem totally cool with it.
They're a happy family.
Yeah, they seem really well put together. And then they run into a priest in a van who says, "I want to save all of you." And they respond by showing vagina to him. And then he says, "Nope, I can't save these people." And he immediately abandons his goal of saving their souls. But a person from his group, I'll call it a group for now, shows up and instantly is like, "I would like to be a lot lizard as well." For the most part. I guess she's there for like hiding because she ran away from the family, but they pretty much just say, "You know what? I think you would make a really good lizard."
You got boobs.
And yeah, you got boobs. And then about 30 minutes I actually made a note.
Don't do spoilers though in the synopsis. So I forgot
Okay.
to tell you.
Jack has a
No.
bell he got from the pontiff that he rings for spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers, but about 30 minutes in, they do like an Ocean's 11 infomercial for all the different parts of the lot, and they're like, "This is the lane. She's not ready for the pit. She can bang guys in the bathroom, but she's not ready for the pit. The pit's for the experienced lot lizards." Yeah, and I won't give away spoilers, but yeah, they just train up a new girl on how to be one of them, and they all seem very pleased with what they do.
Yes.
Well,
Then it becomes a slasher movie.
Don't
And then
you
it
wish?
becomes a slasher.
Don't you wish that Tubi had the ability to record everybody's reactions? And I want to see all the families who grab their kids to watch Candyland. I just saw that cowgirl riding in the truck.
For
That
so
must be
long
awesome.
too. I
yeah,
thought
that's a long shot.
it's a long shot.
I was so happy. I called my wife. Like, look, titties in the first minute. She came in. She's like, "Oh, that's good for you."
I said to Aaron, I was like, she must be being paid, or he must be paying her by the minute, because like they're going to town.
Pound Town, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I also noticed the camera in that, not in that shot, but in that opening sequence, there's visible dirt on the actual camera. And I thought it was going to be like one of those rough edited movies, but I think it was just a genuine mistake. They didn't clean one of their lenses well.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
They're
Yeah.
getting dirty in that.
The camera can't help but get dirty in this movie.
This movie is filthy. All right, Jack. You've already seen it. Just give us a quick. I already know how you feel, but just give us your quick opinion. It was in your top 13.
It's in my top 13. I saw this movie, and I've said this, and I feel like I always say it to Jason. We're always on the same page. I'm like, I watched this movie, and it hit the brakes when it should have hit the gas. And you know what it was missing? Gore and boobs. You know what I mean? Like sex and violence. Like, remember the good old days in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, when movies had an edge to them. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out and you're like, oh my God. And again, I was like, Chad, you have to see this movie. My God. So for me, it was like such a breath of fresh air. I felt like this was the kind of movie that when I was in high school, we'd rent and be like, oh my God, did you see Candyland? Like this was like a throwback to the good old days.
Agreed. Jason, what are your thoughts?
I like this movie a lot. It was gross. Like this movie made me feel gross. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to kind of figure out what it was, other than just watching these lot lizards just going to town with these dudes for long stretches of time in this movie. And RedEye, you just nailed it. It's the fact that they're all so casual and cool with it, and like, just here's a sweet virgin girl. Let's bring her in and utterly destroy her and pretend we're all like good, fun people while we ruin her life.
They're so cheeky about it. Like in the beginning when the guy rolls up and then they're like, you got a guy out in the pit in 2 minutes. And he's like, all right, catch you guys later. And he's like, yep, I'm going to go bang a dude real quick and then I'll be back and we should get something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this poor girl comes in and they're just like, how quickly can we ruin her life? So the whole thing,
the madam who wears the robe the entire time, she's the real seductress.
She was always ready. Having said that, I did enjoy this because it was gross and icky, and it had an old school vibe. Yeah, it had the blood and the boobs and the just crazy scenes.
It's like after you watch Maniac and you're like, I need a shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how many times I would revisit this movie. It's not the most fun movie you'll see of the year, but it's very well made for its budget.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of locations. There's not a lot of people, and they do a good job. So I dug it. And for a Tubi movie, I mean, who knew?
RedEye, what's your opinion on this?
One of the better Christmas movies I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
It is a Christmas movie, technically.
The whole soundtrack, I would say. They have some good songs in it, too, first of all. There's actually some legitimate songs that I liked, but then a ton of Christmas.
Yep.
And it made me happy. But no, I agree. I think old school, kind of simple plot, because I'm just a big fan of small cast of characters, pretty straightforward story, and then they just let it play out. Which is because the big twist happens like 40 minutes into the movie, where you go, okay, I think someone's doing something that we're not expecting them to do, and then they just keep going, and it happens in such quick succession after that. But no, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Oh, yeah. Cool. All right. I'm curious. I've been saving Chad. He's been in my back pocket this whole time. What do you think?
Well, I put this, was it my number 4, number 3 of the year?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
I mean, this is a
wet
Lutsky movie
brain.
through and through.
Yeah, I think Jack for pointing me in the direction. It is these are the kind of movies that I'm constantly searching out. River's Edge, Super Dark Times, Happiness, Mysterious Skin, Candyland. I like that grit, like kind of like RedEye said, the small cast of characters, the thinking outside the box with we're gonna have a slasher movie, but I don't know that they were thinking that. It's just that happens to be kind of what it is, and but with characters that I don't know that we necessarily care about them as much as I found myself very interested in like their life, like what they're just to watch this kind of like the first half is like the slice of life thing, and I love that kind of stuff. Very well done. Everything about it, just a real indie feel. I didn't get a old school feel to it. I just got an indie feel to it. And I just love really well made indie movies. And I've seen two posters. One poster screams, Chad, you need to watch this. And the other one, the one that's on Tubi with the it's like pink and it's got the girl with the cross behind her back and stuff.
Yeah.
That just looked like a cheesy horror movie to me. It deserves a better cover than that one. I don't think it represents the cool, gritty film that you're getting into with that. But yeah, man, it kind of reminds me of the poster for that movie Revenge.
Yes, very much.
That's
a great movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a blast with this. I get the throwback vibes. I feel like it's the 80s. It's a videotape that you really weren't supposed to get. You just found, you're like, what the F is going on here?
Actually, yeah. Imagine this on VHS with like the fuzziness and the.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you think a psychopath made this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
John Waters.
I love also that we get to see Olivia Lucardi, Remy, who's the religious girl. She's from It Follows and Channel Zero. She's
that's what I recognize.
I didn't even connect, but yeah, It Follows. I watched it recently too.
Yeah, she's such an interesting. She's a fascinating person to watch on screen. So I love that they gave her like a quirky kind of religious virgin, bringing into the lizard life of being a whore. Also love the fact that we got Eden Brolin, who is on Yellowstone. She's Josh Brolin's daughter.
Yep.
And I got one of the Buckle Bunnies who's gets together with Jimmy, and we got to see her boobies. We got to see everyone's boobies. It was great.
Is she the one at the very beginning? Just
no,
grinding
She's
that
the
dude
brunette.
to death?
she's the
okay.
brunette. Yeah, she flashes one of the guys.
Oh,
and Jack compared me to the priest that goes in to bang the young girl.
wait, is she the one who flashes the like 8-year-old boy?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
I felt like that 8-year-old boy. I was very happy with what I saw. And William Baldwin, who I think was channeling his brother Alec. He sounded and moved like him a lot. Maybe you thought, yeah, this is my birthday quest.
Jack compared you to the priest. Do you take your teeth out when it's time to get down to business?
No, but I do put on my prosthetic penis, so it's got a snap on. It's kind of cool.
If you've ever sat next to him on a couch, you get the same sort of vibe.
Brother.
He's just asking you creepy questions.
Don't
Shaq.
be afraid.
Did your balls itch sometimes, Shaq? I thought this movie was really good. It was fun. It was a fun slash. It gave me everything I want in movies that I don't get anymore. So it hit all those notes. It's not like the greatest movie ever told. The priest wore a pinky ring.
Think about this though. Last year was such a weak year.
Oh,
we finally got some quality movies in the second half. And then this comes along and you're like, if this had hit earlier in the year, we would have been like so grateful for it. And instead it was like kind of snuck under the radar at Christmas time.
Yeah, it's too bad, but we all liked it because we like horror. And these are the things we want. Everyone listen to this episode. Give us more of this stuff, please.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
You want to jump into spoilers here? I want to talk about some of the kills.
Oh, there's the
Can Can I derail for half a second?
Derail me.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear when I met a lot lizard?
Yes.
Yes.
I was moving from Colorado to New York, going to New York City for a job, and I rented a U-Haul, and I had all my stuff after college, and I was just driving across the country, and it wasn't even like a big U-Haul. I think it was like a 15-foot U-Haul, like one of the smaller trucks. And I didn't have a ton of money to stay in hotels or motels or anything, so I found truck stops and little rest stops were just the best place to sleep. But in the U-Haul, there's all the just constant lights of parking lots. So I put up, shirts and things in the windows to try to black it out. And I saw several times truckers flashing their lights at girls walking in between the trucks and like going to their trucks, just out in the open too. And I think it was Iowa. And it was like 2 a.m. I'd finally fallen asleep in the cab of a U-Haul truck, which isn't even a bench seat. So it's like the most uncomfortable sleep you'll ever get. And I got woken up by somebody knocking on the glass of my driver's side door. And I don't know if she just like came up onto her own free will and just asked, or if maybe I like rolled over and hit the flashers in my sleep or something. But she knocked on the door and I knew it was like 2 a.m. in a truck stop in a state I don't know anything about. And I didn't roll the window down. I just kind of shouted through the door. I was like, hello, who's there? And she was like, do you want me to come in? Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Wow.
Goes, okay. And then she just left. And then I realized who she was and what the flashing lights meant. And I researched it all when I got to my friend's place in New Jersey. But yeah,
Then you saw this movie and you're like,
it was PTSD flashbacks. She wasn't nearly as, the people I saw walking back and forth were not nearly as good of shape as the ladies in this movie were.
So you turned down sloppy ninths?
Yes,
What the heck?
easily ninths. It was pretty late in the night by that point.
I think that's the number one problem with this movie is the lot lizards are too good looking for real
They
life.
are.
And none of them have diseases apparently because they all wear rubbers, which is, we all know, 100% disease proof.
Except the dude. The dude didn't wear rubbers.
I was surprised that none of them were on drugs.
Yeah, no, they did do drugs.
It seemed a little unrealistic that
They're like
nobody
the
was on
Partridge
drugs.
family of whores.
Yeah. Everyone was well adjusted. They were fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wanted to mention when she kills the priest, by the way, the casting of the priest is amazing. That dude was creepy as hell. They're like, oh, this guy's really nice. He'll break you in. And when he walks in, I'm like, oh, Jesus. They are trying to get this girl to freaking kill herself.
He's
right
like
away.
the old man in Poltergeist.
Yes.
So the way she kills him, I thought was freaking lame. I can't stand when movies just like break someone's neck with their legs really easily. I'm like, oh, God. So I was like, this is going to be one of those movies. But when she kills... I don't remember the guy's name, the male lot lizard.
Yeah.
When she kills him, that is horrifying.
Oh, it's intense.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's
That
getting
is-
off while she's doing it.
Man, did that make up for the shitty first kill. I was like, wow, that was really messed up.
Yeah.
Like, really messed up.
I don't know. I think Beyonce could kill a dude with her thighs. Like,
Dude, I would powerbomb her through the crust of the earth. You try to kill me with your thighs.
Famke Jensen in the James Bond movie. Isn't that how she killed guys?
Yeah, it can happen, dude.
I thought she was suffocating the priest at first.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
She breaks his neck.
It would have been so much better if he just suffocated into her vagina. That would have been
Yes.
Well,
perfect.
he was having a hard time breathing, so she weakened him,
there. You
and
go.
then she could do the old thigh twist. And
She weakened his neck. His neck.
Yeah, the
bones.
neck gave out. There's no oxygen in there anymore.
And then she just leaves him under the bed.
yeah, where he didn't smell at all. Nobody detected that.
Nope.
They really do though. They the first half of this movie is just life in the lot and how like Chad Lutzke characters. They're all these broken, tragic people.
Yes.
And then when it gets to the slasher, it's not like a traditional slasher with like people getting picked off one by one, and then their bodies are going to be staged later to fall out and revealing, like, you know who the killer is right away. and then you just like it's just a matter of is she going to get caught in time, and then as I think when Chad and I were talking about this first time, he was like, "Did you expect it to go where it went?" And I was like, "No," because the ending when Daniel Baldwin is taking the girl home, and it turns out she's in a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was
and
cool.
they've done the
you
Kool-Aid.
left without me.
Yeah, that was good. I will say, if the sheriff was even remotely good at his job, she wouldn't have gotten that far.
No.
But like the guy, when he turns on that dude who knocked him out and was, raping him, and he kills that guy, the sheriff just didn't want to do paperwork, and he straight up was like, no one's gonna miss him.
Plus,
And that's what you can get away with literal
Well,
murder.
that was his boy toy.
Yeah.
That's true.
He didn't want to lose him.
They don't seem to investigate any murders in this.
No, they didn't.
No, because this girl was killing indiscriminately. It's like people were dying in cars where everyone knew she went to the car to blow the dude.
Yeah, she had bodies everywhere.
Yeah, she didn't care.
And I love that the priest body was just under the bed the entire time.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with the movie was, okay, William Baldwin, right? Daniel Baldwin.
It was
William.
Okay, I can't remember any of them because I don't care. When he like shooed off the first body and was like, I'll take care of it, I'm like, okay. But when they start piling up, I'm like, this is not how this works. Like, you can't just hide.
It's bloody too. It's like the bathroom kill, the truck kill. There's a lot of blood. She's covered in it numerous times. She puts handprints on the walls. None of that mattered.
Yeah, so like all that, we don't investigate shit, and then everyone is dead except the one girl, and he's like, "Here, let me drive you home. I'm not going to investigate. I'm not going to look. I'm just driving you home." I was like, "Wait,
close this door. We'll pretend this never happened.
Don't forget your bloody cross."
Yeah, your cross. Well, even the final girl too, when she's knocking on the doors, asking where everybody is, and then Remy comes out covered in blood. Not at any point does she assume Remy's going to, turn around and attack her, the new girl who's been spouting Bible verses for who knows how many days. Like, no, she's not the one who did this. Clearly, there's a ghost murdering people.
And that girl is a whore who's supposed to have some street smarts and has none.
None.
She's like a girl who just came out of a nunnery. Just a total moron. I wanted her to live so bad, too.
That writing was my biggest problem with the movie. And by the way, I thought whatever the hell Baldwin it was actually did a really good job in the movie. I just thought his character did dumb shit. Like when he's trying to sympathize with the dude who was raped and then is immediately trying to bang him, I was like, that is messed up.
But I could see that.
That is gross.
That's not beyond people I've met in life. I could see that happening.
Yeah, we're talking about lot lizards and scumbag sheriffs. When is this supposed to be? The 90s or the 70s or
the 90s?
Not the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, we're not as far as like her street smarts. She's a girl who lives in a parking lot at a truck stop. You know what I mean? Like so.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good education when one of my friends owned a strip club in a shitty part of town. And I got a year education of the type of people who were regulars there. I was like, wow. So like nothing anyone does surprises me. I assume everyone's a complete piece of garbage until proven otherwise.
When I watched this movie, I was thinking like, what's a double feature with this? Because Maniac kept coming to mind for the grainy, sleazy. But I was also like, what about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer? It's got a little bit of a Henry vibe to that too.
Oh
yeah,
that's one that I've only seen once, and that was a man. I need 18 showers now.
Yeah,
or I spit on your grave. You could put that in there.
This wasn't nearly as gross as those, but when it ended, I was like, that was a really well made movie. I don't know that I'm going to watch it again.
I will say the happiest part of the whole movie, they brought in Santa Claus. And he lived, and he got to leave. He was like the only person in the cast that didn't get killed by Remy.
That is true.
And that's how you know it's a true Christmas movie, because Santa Claus made an entrance and survived.
He came and went.
He loved them.
He did.
He loved them ho ho hos.
He sure did.
That whole part was so funny. She's like, "Oh, this one of my girls was murdered." And he's like, "Yeah, I was puked on, pissed on, shit on,
Because
coughed
just
on.
coughing in my face.
Now let's bang." It's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Get me a bitch.
still wearing the same stuff.
So good.
That guy was great. I liked him.
Oh
a
yeah.
lot.
That was a fun movie, man.
How about the when the male lot lizard gets assaulted? That was
Yeah,
pretty
intense.
It was hardcore
Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense.
too.
that rape scene reminded me of Irreversible with Monica Bellucci.
I've
That
never seen
scene
that.
is just,
That's brutal.
it alters you forever.
I think
but,
is that the movie that has the there's a certain sound or song or droning sound in that's supposed to cause nausea. I think that's the
Really?
movie that it's in. Yeah, it's supposed to. There's
Oh.
a sound in there that's scientifically proven to make you feel uncomfortable and make you nauseous.
well,
I think that's the movie, and I haven't seen the movie, but I do know there's a very brutal rape scene in it.
a 10-minute rape scene
Yeah,
that
that's
the camera never moves and there's no cuts.
Wow.
That'll do you in.
yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah.
It also reminded me of there's a really intense part in Boogie Nights where Dirk Diggler has kind of lost control. He's on drugs and he's prostituting himself, and they're in the pickup truck in that parking lot. Do
Yeah.
you remember that scene?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
watched it a couple of weeks ago.
That's an intense scene.
It is.
That's at the same
Good
time
one.
as Roller Girls in the limo with the guy that she went to high school with.
Yes.
Roller Girl.
It's like everybody's hitting rock bottom at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So, speaking of rock bottom, I think RedEye has hit it by being on this show.
Yep.
Is
Hey,
that-
this elevates me. This is high tier entertainment from Steven Seagal.
Well, that's true. You did get a better quality movie to watch.
Absolutely.
Would this movie be better with Steven Seagal in it?
Oh god.
As the sheriff.
What if he was the sheriff? Oh
As
my
the gay
god.
sheriff?
Oh,
Oh my
He
god.
would
I would
play
have to
that
put it
part.
on my channel, which would be really tough. But
Do you
It's
think
t-
if he was in it, then he would like go in and like he would beat her up and like when they get to the cult thing, the cult leader, they're still alive and they attack him and he has to kung
Yeah,
fu fight with everybody.
and then they all reincarnate and he has to kill them all a second time. Yeah.
yes,
Here's the deal. Seagal sees the script that says, "You're a sheriff in love with the dude lot lizard."
And he'd be like,
throws
okay,
the
I
script
think
in the garbage.
that's really cool. But could we maybe change it to like a 19-year-old Chinese girl? I just think that would be so much
Can I
better.
bang all the girls?
instead of these Christmas songs, can we pull some tracks from my blues album?
Oh yeah, nothing like what is it? Alligator ass.
Oh my god.
He's got a song Alligator Ass. That's a pretty good one.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, this would have been actually a decent role for him because most of the time he's sitting in the truck. So
It's
he
true.
would not
He
have
doesn't have to
complained too
move.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna revive Ironside. That's his new thing.
Jesus Christ.
He would just play one of the people laying underneath the cloths at the end, so he wouldn't have to move at all.
He could be the priest.
He
The-
could.
Oh.
Those cloths were small. They'd have to use like 6 on him, I think.
Tarp.
I did chuckle a little bit to myself with some of those cloths. I was like, you got some really tall cultists in this group. I'm like, this did not cover 2/3 of that guy's body.
What if you could put in what's the movie on the battleship?
Under Siege?
Under Siege. What if we get Tommy Lee Jones, Seagal, and Gary Busey in this movie?
Oh,
Gary Busey
amazing.
could be the priest.
If I was working on that movie, I would
priest.
quit. I wouldn't wanna
Gary
do it.
Busey could have been the Santa Claus. He'd have been
Yes.
hilarious
That would have
Yes.
been great.
with all those puns.
Oh god.
All right. Well, this is a great episode. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Red
thanks for
Eye.
having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't get to chat horror movie very often, so this has been nice.
And again, at the end, now we're an hour and a half in, hour 40. You look even better now than when we started.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you watch a lot of obscure stuff. So if you find something interesting you think we'd like, let us know. and
100%.
Come on and
Yeah, I
we'll
will.
talk about it.
Yeah, because I have a feeling after the writer strike and actor strike, 2024 is going to be total garbage. So we're going to need to fill it with other stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we have no idea what we're doing next week. I want to throw it out there. Adam Caesar, our buddy, wrote a movie that's coming out on the 16th. So maybe we might consider doing it. It's set in a bowling alley, by the way. I forget the name of the movie, but
Well, let's look at this. There's
just
something
think
new.
about it.
There's something new coming on Shutter too. So
All right, good. We'll figure it out. But until then, smash that like button and tell all your friends and wake your mom up and tell her to watch Candyland with you and hold her hand real tight. Until then, we'll see you next week.
see it.
Game over,